That's fine.
Okay.
Seriously, you guys, we have not had this much issue going live. This must be a good conversation.
Yeah. So, thank you for joining us. I think we're just gonna hop in because I don't think that's working. Let's just go. We're just wasting time trying to get going on everything. Anyways, so the interesting thing that's kind of been happening right now, is everybody's getting some pushback on what's going on with Trump. And just give us a thumbs up. Put in the comments. Are you excited to see what Trump is actually doing when this what is this, the fourth week he's in office?
Yeah.
And he's just lighting a path. He's just like trailblazing all these amazing things that are going on. And of course, things are going to get pushed back from the Dems, and we're going to talk about that. And let us know what you think about the pushback. Let us know what you're thinking about what Trump is doing. What like Donna said, like one of the main things that you're excited about that he's actually has put down, or made might come to pass right now. And what's making your blood boil the most right now? The things that are being uncovered, because that's another thing. Like what are you like? I can't believe they're actually doing that, or I can't believe actually all this is everything going on. So. Well, real quick, because I know some of you guys will probably ask, like, why, dude, what's wrong with your face? Why does it look like that? Why do you look like Quasimodo with a Band-Aid on? Anyway, so as you guys probably know, some of my other videos, I've had like this bump that's been on my head, and finally got it removed. And I actually have it here because I did want to keep it for keepsake. So
You're funny.
This is what they removed from my head.
You guys, ha ha ha. Tim Avery. Yeah, no.
It's just a gummy vitamin, but it was about that size.
Seriously,
it did look like about like that. They took it off of my head, and that's why I got the Band-Aid on. And the surgeon said that my face would probably sag on one side for a little bit. He probably didn't notice until I said something. Anyways, but I just want to say that because you guys probably wouldn't be able to focus on what I was going to say anyway until I said that. Anyway, so Trump. So I'm like fired up on all the stuff that he's uncovering and the team that he's assembled to accomplish all the things that need to be accomplished right now, because he knows he's got 4 years, right? He's got 4 years to uncover and accomplish all the things that need to be accomplished right now in our country. And you could tell that this man loves our country. He loves his country because it is his country as well. And he's tired of the corruption. I mean, put in a comment below, amen. I'm tired of the corruption. Put that in comment, tired of the corruption. Put that in the comments below. And I'm glad that things are being uncovered, and like I said before, like Doge, the thing that Elon Musk is heading up is amazing. It's all about transparency. I saw a piece on it the other night that, if you want to see what they're uncovering, go to their site, go to the Doge site. I don't know the actual site, but if you look up Doge, DOGE, and find out, and you want to know what they're uncovering, and I don't know if you've been watching some of the press briefings by Caroline, the press secretary. I think she has done an amazing job.
I do too.
Super amazing job. Super young, but like super amazing job of like handling questions, but like just laying down the hammer of like what the truth is of all the things that's been going on. So, and she's laid down like a list of things that the Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, what they've been uncovering has been like mind blowing. Like my mind is like blown on the amount of abuse and corruption of the government spending that's been going on. It's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts. I mean, money that's, especially this USAID, they'll probably start flagging that word on our sites, but USAID is a slush fund for all these Democrats and whoever to fund all this ridiculous things, especially with the alphabet community surgeries, mutilation of kids, all over the country, all over the world, not just our country, like all over the world, like Sri Lanka, like some of these other countries, to establish roads and bridges. Like in Afghanistan, that was like hundreds of billions of dollars to establish a road in Afghanistan that wasn't even utilized. I'm like, what is that? Like giving hundreds of billions of dollars to farmers in Afghanistan to grow other crops and opium that just didn't work. Diesel factories, like what is this? I mean, we're in trillions of dollars of debt, and this is what the government is spending our money on, our taxpayer money on. Like, no wonder people don't want to pay taxes.
Thanks, Pastor Ronaldo. We're
I
praying for
mean,
you too.
it's incredible. It is unnerving, to say the least, of all the stuff that's been going on. And so the list goes on. I mean, $70,000 here, $80,000 here, $100,000 here, $1 million here, all around our globe. And that is not a, you know, an America First agenda type thing. You know, and
So many
why
millions.
is our tax dollars going to stuff like
So many millions.
who approved that?
Even for what, condoms in Gaza?
Yeah, like $50 million for condoms for Hamas terrorists
Using those
that were
Chad?
about to be released that DOJ stopped. Now, so this is my frustration with this, and it should be the frustration of a lot of American people, especially on both sides of the aisle, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or whatever. But who's giving the pushback? People like Elizabeth Warren. She's like, take this to the streets. We need to go fight. And did you see that about her wanting to take this fight to the streets because they're wanting to, like, they think that Elon Musk has got too much oversight because he can see all this stuff? No, this is what the American people wanted. 77 million people voted for Trump, and this whole he campaigned this whole idea of having a government efficiency, oversight of the fraud and abuse and spending that's been going on in our government, and now that's being done, and now they're scrambling, they're freaking out. Anyways, what's your thoughts on Doge?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited that you've got a bunch of things that they've uncovered, and apparently it wasn't too hard. I mean,
it's right there.
Once you get in and you take ownership, of course, who would want to take ownership when they're getting paid? Mm-hmm. So I love that Elon and
his team,
our president are both doing this selflessly out of, I'm not getting paid. I mean, like seriously, like they can, like a few $100,000 can affect them when they are billionaires.
Right.
So I mean, and then have the gall for some people to say, I wish they wouldn't. I wish they'd just get paid. Like, no, you don't. You wouldn't do it yourself. So whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just a leftist agenda to sit there and say that, when in fact they're ripping you off. The very one who might complain about that, they're ripping you off. You are the one that also pays taxes every time you go in and buy your potato chips. Trust me when I say that you're I mean, unless you're living off the government yourself. I mean, but when we realize that someone buying you a fish doesn't help you in the long run, but you learning how to fish will, then we understand how the government should work. But remembering what we've always said, that the government doesn't distribute wealth, they redistribute whatever is coming in from us. And so remember that. I mean, I'm also shocked about the people that are like so mad about tariffs. Like, I love that yesterday he said, I'm going to charge tariffs for the same amount they charge us. So if they charge us 25%, in other words, I'm going to charge them 25%.
That seems fair to me.
If they charge us nothing, I'm going to charge them nothing. If they charge us 1%, I'm going to charge them 1%. I mean, to me, I don't care if you guys don't like it at all. I love it. I think that it's about time we actually get paid for all the nations that have been living off of our land.
Come on, it's generating income for sure. You know, and the trillions of dollars of debt, I wonder, you know, once Doge gets this thing all straightened out, I wonder how much debt we actually are in. You know, I bet you we probably wouldn't be in debt at all with all the taxes that we've been paying. You know, and they've got the audacity to continue to raise the debt ceiling every year. Yeah. You know, because they just want more money to spend to all over the world for crazy nonsense stuff. So I put in the comments below, do you think we're actually in debt? Like, once Doge gets rid of all this crazy spending, I bet you we are making money, especially with Donald saying like the tariffs, because it's an income generating idea. Correct. To put out tariffs for people countries who are wanting to sell things and goods into our country,
and the other nations know that. The other nations know that. They've been making income generation off
From
of
us.
you.
Yeah.
And so make it personal. This stuff is because of you. This is affecting you. I don't
Yes.
care if you are a Democrat or not. It affects you at
Yes.
some point. And so I just, I always had this bad feeling about the whole healthcare system too. What a joke. I always felt like, okay, so hear me out. Hear me out. I'm not saying this is the case, but hear me out. Like when we were a part of, still are a part of a direct sales company. Okay. Let's just say that there's, for example, a format of, think of a direct sales type company, something that starts at the top and goes and trickles all the way through, as wide and as deep as it wants to. And let's say that it starts off as Obamacare and then realizes a lot of people don't like Obama, so they change it to Medicare. They change it to something that is everybody has received well. Well, let's not call it that. Let's just call it this. And then we realize that somebody at the top really was getting all of that sign up and all of that trickle down.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty amazing. Hey, Jesus image, we'd love to let us know. Yeah, so I think that it's pretty amazing that they're having this trickle down, and they're panicking when someone else comes in that can actually explode this whole system, which is broken. It's broken. It's not healthcare. It's called healthcare. It's not healthcare. And
who's getting kickbacks as well?
They're getting the spiff kickbacks of everyone who signed up. But yet when you go in and try and get something done, you figure out that your healthcare isn't what it seemed. And then you blame who? You don't blame Obamacare. You blame the government who gave it to you, which is ironic, right? They set it up to where it fails, and they set it up to where they get paid, but you don't.
Come on. And
you don't get taken care of. You have to do a runaround, and then you blame our health care in our nation as to that fact. Well, I think that the interesting thing is that it's like really sad to understand that whenever you give control away to the government and you allow them to school your kids, you allow them to take care of your health, you allow them to buy your food, then you are now becoming a victim. Immediately. Immediately when you sign up for that, you're now a victim. Period. Whenever you sign up for that, I don't care how much you need it. And listen, I feel for the ones. If you know my family story, you know what my dad went through. You know what Tim and I have been through with military and VA. And don't even get us started. But I'm just saying.
That's another point.
Just saying that when you understand that there are people who need it for a time, but it is not meant to be more than a crutch. It is not meant to be more than a bridge to get someone to somewhere. And if they don't ever, then we've got some disability issues.
Right.
People have been living off of that even because they start getting too used to spoon-fed. It doesn't help you. It does not help you. Okay? It cripples you absolutely.
Just like a drug addict, you become dependent upon it.
So that's where our government was, and I'm just excited that someone's blown that out of the water. I think it's crazy that Elon pointed out that in order to someone to retire, they have to go down into a cave. Did you guys see that? They have to go down into a cave below the surface to retire on Social Security. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, you guys. I'm going to show it. I'm going to put the link, but he posted where they have to, if you watched Elon and Trump talk, I thought it was amazing. Elon goes, this is crazy. They have to, it was the same day he was talking about someone who's 100.
Who has to?
If the person who's wanting to retire off of Social Security.
Oh, okay.
They can't even retire because someone has to be able to go down into the cave to get the files.
Oh, okay, I see.
And they can't get them because there's issues. He was like, are you kidding me? Like, who does this? And so I was just, I don't know all of it. We came back from the trip and we're like watching as much as we could.
Are you talking about because I remember he was saying that they found like people who were like, they were still getting payments. They're like 150 years old. Yeah. So you're saying for them to actually stop payments for Social Security that maybe somebody has died, they have to go down into a
Into a
cave
cave,
to find the
correct.
file to actually stop the payment.
Correct.
Oh, I got
There's
you.
like so
That's
much.
crazy,
It's
y'all.
so much to it. It's so much to it that I thought, man.
I thought you were saying like that person has to go down into like the actual
No.
person. Like, what does that mean? Okay.
No. So in
That's
order to
crazy.
get the records are actually way down deep. And it was like, what?
Why do you make it that challenging? Yeah.
He said,
that's some shady stuff, y'all.
and it's stuff that they haven't even changed over with the new era that we're in electronically and digitally, that it's like, how? So that just shows how much they've tucked everything literally under the carpet to where they can't fix it because they don't want to fix you.
Yeah.
They don't want to help you. And
Yeah.
so we finally have a leadership that does want to help this nation.
Not afraid to go into the freaking lion's den to go get it.
Oh,
either.
and I'm so excited about the Occupy Gaza. Let's occupy.
We'll get to that. We'll get there.
Occupy.
We'll definitely get there. But comment below what you guys think about Doge, especially with the fact that, you know, we've got all this government spending and abuse. You know that we've got problems in our own country. We got a lot of homeless issues. We got a lot of veterans who are struggling to get benefits that they deserve. I'm being one of them.
Yep.
You know, so, you know, there's all that. And we're just, and they're just blowing money like it ain't nothing. Like Carolyn said, like they're just spending, like the Dems are just spending money like drunken sailors, just on just random nonsense. And we can't even have the bill. We can't even pay for people who have gone through Christ fires we've had, the hurricanes we've had in North Carolina, the fires in California, you know, stuff all over our country. We can't find the money for that. But we can spend millions and billions of dollars overseas in other countries that we have no vested interest.
Right.
You know, like Donna's saying, like, what's the kickback from all these investments? Anyway, so comment below what you think about Doge. Are they doing a good job? Do you hate Doge? Do you hate Elon having the ability to see all the government spending? I think that's amazing.
I think it's,
you know, and somebody made that. I think some of these Dems some of these Dem outlets and media outlets saying, well, he's got too much oversight. He can see all your social security numbers. He can do all this and all that. I'm like, y'all, this is the richest man in the world, and he's looking at stuff that to government. Do you think he's gonna spend? Do you think he cares about your little social security number and your little credit card, credit report? He don't care.
Nope.
He's got more money than he knows to do with. He don't care about that. But what he does care about, he cares about our country. He actually cares about you more so that he wants to get rid of this fraud and abuse spending. So if you have a problem with that, you're probably hiding money in this thing. That's all I got to say. Who's fighting harder against this Doge? That's probably the people who have the most to hide. Right. Think about it that way. All right, let's move on because we got a lot to cover. So the other thing that Trump has vowed to do is to release these files of JFK, the murder of JFK.
I can't wait.
MLK, RFK.
Let's get it out
and
there.
They even made the comment in the press briefing. One of the people that are asking questions were asking, will Trump try to figure out who had the assassination attempt on him, on his life? And she says, well, you know, I'm sure that they will. I'm sure that they will investigate that. And if Trump wants to release that, he's more inclined to do that. But, you know, put in the comments below. Would you want to know who tried to put a hit out on Trump? I want to know who did that. You know, they're probably still frantic now, trying to cause problems and issues. But yeah, what do you think about that? I mean, are you ready to hear what happened with JFK's assassination? Are you ready to hear what happened with MLK's assassination? I mean, there's a lot of speculation about why they killed JFK. Like, why did they kill JFK? You know, there's speculation that he didn't want to go to war. He didn't want to go to Vietnam. That people were trying to trick him to go into Vietnam, and he didn't want to go. And then he put his foot down. He didn't want to go. That they actually killed him, or they were trying to get him out, or they were trying to get the troops out of Vietnam, and they killed him. And so that's some of the speculation.
You know, I want to go off. Let's talk eggs for a second. I want to interject. I know this is not on the list, but I want to talk about eggs. Like, oh, perfect. Well,
we're gonna get there.
Next thing, eggs. I mean, like, hats off for Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Hats off to the women that get an omelet this morning. You are.
Ooh. Probably costs more than roses right now.
I tell you what, like,
you want a dozen roses or a dozen eggs?
You are getting supreme treatment.
I think that's funny too.
We came back and we were like, what the heck happened?
Eggs were hot.
We left and eggs were like, you know, not that big of a deal. Come back and it's like, man.
Put this in the comment below. What do you think the egg price come from? Do you think that's because Trump just took office? Or do you think that's something that's residual from the previous administration who probably has done something our inflation was crazy, so it's lag time. That's what I believe. I strongly believe it's lag time of the current administration, the past administration, of what actually has happened, and things are catching up, and now Trump's having to deal with it. So you tell me, what do you think? Where the high food prices coming from still? You think that's coming from the current administration or the previous administration? Put that in the comments below. Egg prices are high, y'all. We were like, what? We bought like eggs, like a dozen eggs for like $12 or something like that. Was it?
I mean,
$11 or $12 the other
we
day?
need a new job, basically. We need a new
I was
job.
like, dang, what the heck?
Anybody need some marketing help?
But we know that those prices are coming down. Trump had the lowest inflation rates when he was in office previous, and that will come down. I would say just give it 6 months to a year. Those prices will come down. If you're in the housing market, real estate agent, I guarantee you that is going to come back. That the interest rates are going to come back down. There's a lot of things that are fighting and swimming about our inflation rate right now and our interest rates. We know that's being controlled by world banks. And that's another thing, man. Some things that we just starting to realize, like that you may not realize this, like our the world banks that control our interest rates, like a government entity does not have oversight over the world banks, but they control our interest rates.
Crazy.
Interesting, y'all. Come on. So anyway, so we need to have some type of oversight on that, and like who controls that, and why do they control that, and why do they have such a vested interest on our interest rates in our country? Just food for thought. Just think about that. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, so the other things that Trump vowed to release is all these UAPs, aliens, UFOs, drones, all this stuff. There's things that if you watch some of these committees, Senate committees about, and this kind of blew me away too, is like there's also underwater phenomenon that are starting to be uncovered, and there's footage of that stuff, and I'm sure you've seen all the footage that you are interested in on all this UAP or underwater phenomenon. And the government, the U.S. military, are putting out videos and clips and things like that, and they want oversight. They want this stuff to be released so the public would know what the heck is going on. How long have we had contact with this?
Crazy.
All these things. And so, I mean, I'm interested in that. I want to know what the heck's going on. I have an answer for you on a biblical perspective, though. It's all demonic activity. You're probably going to call me a heretic or whatever. I don't care. It's demonic activity. If you think about this stuff and you look back into the Bible, all these giants and Nephilim and all these things that you read back in the Bible, the giants of renown, these were all demon spirits that intertwine with the human race. And I believe that this stuff is coming back full circle. And so whatever entity that these things are, biologics, or whatever you want to call it, there is a demonic force behind this stuff. And if you don't believe that, you need to read your Bible. And if you're not a believer, just know that this stuff is demonic. This is a spiritual realm that we're dealing with here, and the stuff that's popping in and out of the stuff that, like, whether these are spaceships or whatever you want to call them, I'm excited to see what comes out about all this stuff.
I want to go back a little bit. I know Jennifer Arnott had said this yesterday in reply to Doge entering. I had posted about the IRS being audited. They expect to audit the IRS.
Need to.
And she put, hopefully they abolish it for fair tax. I
need to reset the whole thing. That's what I think. Just 10% income tax, whatever. I'll be happy to pay.
As most of us are doing our taxes right now as we speak, then I think it's super exciting to know that the IRS is probably going to also get audited.
Across the board. Everybody pays 10% income tax. So that's just plenty of money.
Hey, IRS, I'm super excited about the External Revenue Service. Let's go. Let's go.
Just reset the whole thing, man. For real.
Come on. Next thing, pushback from transgender. How about that with the Supreme Court? Something about, did you see where when President Trump submitted that they cannot mutilate our children, they actually pushed it back.
2 genders, y'all. That's it.
Pushed it back so that they can go into a hospital and get that surgery. Like, why don't, operate on yourself? Like, I don't understand. Like, you're making eunuchs out of your own children. I don't get it. I don't care. Oh, and by the way, you know, as I'm sitting here saying this, my immediate thought was, you know, how many times are the platforms going to desensitize us? Like, I'm telling you now on Instagram, just so you know, if I've tried to like your stuff and you see that I haven't, I've tried. Instagram currently on Visual Testaments has us, which is crazy. I can screenshot it. I've already done it. They actually have us showing that we are,
giving out false information or something like
no, that our brand content, that our brand is, not being, supportive of community guidelines. But then when you go under the community guidelines that they say we're not being supportive of, they actually acknowledge, they say, thank you for following community guidelines, but you're not going to be monetized. So I just wanted to point that out to you guys. I'm curious to see if you're on our Instagram and you're following us, that if you think we haven't tried to follow or like you, and we probably have, but, you know, hallelujah. We actually have posted so much that Instagram leftists don't like. And so I can't even do a live on there right now. I tried and it keeps pushing it back.
Wait a minute. Didn't our guy, and I say that term loosely, our guy, didn't the FB guy, Facebook as in, what's Mark Zuckerberg, say that he would he would be more open to, or less, not being so restrictive on.
Yes. Now, in his defense, I will say, because he bought Meta, because he owns Meta, and he actually merged back with IG. IG was still got their own little leftist fake group that does their fake fact checks that now have had to stop, but they're still penalizing in different ways.
Figuring out another way, a loophole through their own.
I mean, they don't even talk to their own people. In other words, Instagram and Facebook don't even play nice to each other. So it's kind of funny. And so Meta's not really, trust me, I know, I deal with it every single day. So I'm just saying that we're not live on Instagram right now because we've had some pushback. But you guys pray for us on that and intercede for us on that, because it's just weird. Like, there's people that have done a lot more than us and they're getting shut down, which, by the way, be praying for Pastor Mike Signorelli. He actually has been off the chain covering this stuff that's been uncovered.
Yep.
And he actually, if you're on his YouTube, you can't even subscribe while he's going live, and has 5,000 plus followers. He has 5,000 people watching, and YouTube will then say he ended the live when he didn't. And there's no subscribe button, so you can't follow him. I mean, odd. This is stuff that's happening in real time. And he screenshots it, and I screenshot stuff that happens to us. And so it's just interesting. We've been trying to do things, and I just want you to understand the platforms are trying to kick back. But media doesn't like it when media is actually stepping up and taking hold of things. You know, I think I liken it to, like, for example, I'll just say, just for example purposes, not that it's actual fact, but let's just use Turner Broadcast. Let's just say somebody like Turner Broadcast that owns a lot of media outlets would not like necessarily someone talking about maybe someone leftist, and they end up pulling a plug on things that they know will actually give people a voice. You know, you have situations like that, and you think that it's just directly Instagram, but it's actually the people that own things like this. So we need to pay attention, and we need to, I love that this current administration allowed other platforms to show up and use and be parts of the newsroom. Just so you know, cool. Tim and I have signed up for that. We have, as Visual Testament, signed up to be a part of the newsroom. Waiting for a number to be called, y'all. They're going to call us in Jesus' name.
We're going to be in that room. I'm going to sit next to Peter Ducey. I'm going to give him a fist pound. Right there.
Hey, I'm going to be next to Joe Rogan. What would you ask?
What would you ask? I don't know. That I mean, wherever the world event that needs to be covered to talk about, I'm asking that question. I'm going to come off the top rope. But I mean, I already know that, like, I am super proud of what our president is doing right now.
Super.
I'm excited to see all the stuff that's happening. I know, I'm like I said, when he came to office, it's like It's like the principal came into a classroom and everybody's straightened up. You know what I mean? Like he's got that principal effect. Like people actually respect this guy all over the world.
Yeah.
They're calling him. They're wanting to meet with him. They're wanting to make deals. I mean, look at the way that Hamas has responded to him. You know, I mean, they're like wanting to cut a deal because they know he ain't about that, y'all. He ain't about that hot noise.
Principal walked in.
Come on, man. They don't want that smoke.
With the paddle that has the holes in it. You know what I'm saying? He's got the paddle with the holes in it. He's ready to start slapping people.
He said, y'all got till Saturday. Look, this like we gonna turn in some today. We're gonna give you some hostages today. And that's what they did. I mean, it ain't even Saturday yet.
No, but he's tired of the trickle effect too.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm tired of the onesies, twosies. Y'all gonna release them all.
And I'm sure that they're gonna straight up on that too. But you know, I'm excited what our president's doing. And this is like week 4. I'm like watching at the edge of my seat because what we're witnessing right now is history in the making, y'all.
Yeah.
This is one of the greatest presidents that we've ever had. And we're watching history in the making. And I would say savor this moment and get on board. Anytime you have an opportunity to vote for something that's in favor of what he wants to get across, vote for it. I'm just saying, vote for it. I'm waiting for the midterms because I'm sure that things are going to, I think the House is going to even be more and more red when the midterms happen, because I know these people that are following these Dems are tired about this nonsense these guys are putting out. I mean, you could see the corruption in their eyes, yelling about USAID. They're trying to protect this slush fund and saying that we need to take to the streets. Y'all, do you remember January 6th? Y'all remember that? How much they were saying, well, he incited this violence and insurrection.
But never wanted to talk about Antifa.
But now look at them.
Antifa
they're the ones saying,
so many people.
They're the ones saying now we need to take the fight to the street. Look at Elizabeth Warren lately, and I forget that other lady on the street, other Dems, and these other guys on the street and holding protests and saying nobody elected his arse, talking about Elon Musk and like
Nobody
we did. We
Biden. Nobody elected Joe Biden. Nobody elected Joe Biden. We did not elect Joe Biden, okay? We did not. So you want to go there? Go right on ahead. We didn't elect the commander and thief. I'll tell you, as we go into the next sword issue with Jonathan Cahn, the sword revelation that he came up with, let me just say, too, I want to kind of insert this. Super excited about our friends. There's two that I want to just touch on. And if you're looking for really good leadership right now, you need to message us, because we have 2 or 3 different mentors. Like pinch us that we have this kind of ridiculous leadership that we get to be held accountable by. But if you're looking for great mentorship, I just want to stop and take a little commercial break to say, message us if you are looking for true mentorship and leadership, because we have our hands on and with and partnered to some incredible leaders and mentors that are doing things in the globe, and with Spirit-led ministries. Yeah. If you're not about the Spirit-led life, don't message us, because it's all about Holy Spirit with this crew. So, but if you are, and you really are willing to invest in yourself, then message us.
That's awesome. So, I don't know if you caught the latest teaching with Jonathan Cahn, but, Jonathan Cahn's probably one of my favorite guys, especially when it comes to prophetic and end time stuff. Jonathan Cahn, if you've read any of his books, I think he's got like 14 or 15. I've lost track how many books he's got, but I've finished up the last book, Dragon Prophecy. But anyway, the things that, if you know anything about the Harbinger, they're continuing to unfold. The things that are happening in our country, they're all prophetically blueprinted. I guess that's the best way of saying it. Things are happening in our country because they've been instituted with Scripture, and things are continually to unfold. And so. With Jonathan,
there's only one Holy Spirit.
Jonathan Cahn has put out this teaching, or this revelation, I should say it this way, about Jehu. There's a similarity that President Trump is like a Jehu. And he's back in office, and this last thing that happened with Jehu. I forget that I can't do justice to the teaching, but there is this prophecy with Jehu coming in with a sword to bring justice and righteousness back to the country of Israel, and God anointed Jehu to to bring justice and to usurp Ahab at that
Yeah.
time, and so
Amen.
and undo everything Ahab did, all the corruption, all the false idol worship, all this other stuff that Ahab instituted in the land of Israel. And so Jehu came in with a sword and started just wrecking havoc and overturning the apple cart. And so it's interesting on the inauguration day, because of that prophecy with Jehu and the sword. Trump came in the inauguration holding a sword, and there's a picture of that. And he came in the inauguration holding a sword, and we know exactly what he's been doing the last 4 weeks. He's been overturning the apple cart of the Democratic agenda of all this stuff that's just been nonsense in the country.
Secrets.
With overturning all this nonsense with transgenderism and everybody can be a zebra or a goat or whatever else they want to be, pretend, put on blue wig, and do whatever they want to do. I mean, it's crazy. And so the likeliness, the similarities of what Jehu and Trump is doing right now.
Yeah, and he had pointed out before that when he got the attempted assassination with blood on his ear and on his feet. Remember, his shoes got kicked off, and his hands.
Mm-hmm.
When his shoes got kicked off, like literally, if you listen to Jonathan Cahn's teaching, the revelation that the Lord has given him
mind blowing, y'all.
Unreal about what how the Lord anoints the next person that
next king or priest. Yeah,
it's crazy, because everything happened in that attempted assassination to prove that he has been anointed by the Lord. So it's just pretty amazing.
I mean, look at the favor he's got on his life, on his presidency.
Yeah,
I mean, the stuff that he's able to accomplish just in the last 4 weeks with all these world leaders. I mean, it's unreal. You know, the hand of God is on him.
Yeah, as we go into the Gaza Strip, I just want to talk too about, like, I want to talk to the ones who still have some pushback mentally. You're like, I just didn't vote for him. I don't want him. I just think that it's pretty impressive for people to see what all he's doing and still have some pushback. I want you to ask the Holy Spirit, like, and, if you don't believe in God, then that's on you. But I'm just telling you now's not a good time to not believe in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. We're too close to the end.
Yes.
And if you're wrong, it's going to be eternally wrong. But if we're right, then you're going to know that you accepted something. I mean, you're accepting something anyway.
Yep.
It may as well be the opportunity for eternal life. He's not going to push it on you. And I think that right now, when you're seeing all this anointing happen, if you'll read the Bible, you'll see that he anointed the next king that he chose each time. And so I'm pretty excited about that. I think that, in other words, if anything was to go off the rails, that means that the Lord who picked and anointed that one is actually going to step in and clean up the mess. Remember that. Those he picks, he cleans up after. So, I mean, that should give you some relief if you actually feel like you didn't vote for him. We felt that way the last 4 years, and we had to deal with it. So, my compassion level is just suck it up and watch what happens, because you're actually going to be better off in the long run, as you see how the Lord is actually using this person to expose. It's all about expository right now. I think that it's pretty interesting that we think, oh, he's doing this and that and ruining our lives, when it's like, you know what? He's exposing stuff.
You're welcome.
Exactly. Of course, there's going to be dust that flings in the air. Let the dust settle.
Oh, dust my eye. No, y'all, come on.
Yeah, let the dust settle and watch what happens, because God's got something that he's exposing far greater, and he's fighting for souls.
Come on, man.
He's fighting for souls. He's not fighting for your bank check. I'm sorry. He's not fighting for your payment. He's already said, I'll take care of you. If you don't believe him, that's on you. Yeah. This ain't about provision. This is about the soul of man. And so, because this is a spiritual war, and it's about the soul of man, he is going to kick up as much dust as Jehu will work with him on. And I think it's awesome that we have a Jehu that's got a shovel in his hand and ready to just throw it everywhere.
I'm excited to see all this prophetic stuff unfold in front of our eyes, y'all. Like I said, this is amazing. All right, so last thing we want to talk about is the Gaza Strip. Trump has made it a lot of stuff. He talked to King Abdullah a couple days ago. I think it was like maybe 2 days ago about the possibility of them coming together, releasing some Ghazians to Jordan or to other areas in the country. And so they're coming to an agreement. And King Abdullah of Jordan said that I'll take 2,000 of I think there were some sick Ghazians who were had like cancer or something like that. And Trump was like, that's such a beautiful gesture. We'll do that. And so that's amazing. So like that was just one of the things that are just a favor that Trump has on his life right now to deal with world leaders. And so the implication now is okay, so the Gaza Strip, y'all. What do y'all think about this? That the United States takes control of the Gaza Strip. And what does that mean? I know that some Dems would say, well, are we going to put boots on the ground? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, I don't think that's what Trump is trying to say. I think what he's trying to say is that he may just control this area so that way that there's peace in this area. That brings more people back into the area, but also it gives them opportunity to rebuild this area. This is a highly contested area for years. And Israel says it's theirs. The Ghazians say it's theirs. And so it's amazing how if we have somebody who has control of this area, like the United States, if they take control of it, I mean, I think there's a better opportunity for peace to be had there. It's not that I think that Trump wants to own this piece of place or to take it as our own land. I don't think that's the intent. I think the intent is so that way that Hamas doesn't have control of this area. Terrorists don't come in here and try to take control of this area. It's a land that is controlled by an entity that will be able to fight off or fend off any type of terrorist organizations getting in there. So what will that take? I don't know. I don't know what that'll take. In my opinion, that might have to take some type of military force of some sort, or maybe not United States force, maybe a combination. Maybe there needs to be a peace agreement with Ghazians and the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, to say, hey, let's create a neutral force to protect this area from terrorists, not from each other, but from terrorists, from trying to get in this area. And so I think that's very important. And I think there needs to be a peace agreement with that. And so with America governing that, or maybe mitigating that, or helping to negotiate that, I think that's a brilliant idea. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Drop in the comments what you guys think.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you. We want to know that you're actually watching, because we can't see a lot of the stuff that you assume we can. Before he talks about what happened to his head, and when I talk about what happened to my face.
Yeah.
I want to just point out that all of this, if you pull out of the picture, because we're all in it, right? We're all Americans. A lot of us are Americans, and or we're in the globe and affected by America. Yeah. And when we pull up out of this and we get a 40,000 foot look, this is all because of lust. This is all because of, like, seriously, greed, gluttony, lust of the flesh, wanting something that's not yours, wanting something. Ultimately, this is all the Father's anyway. He created this earth. He created us. And when you look at how much people covet, that's what we're dealing with, is lust from Gaza needing $60 million worth of condoms. I'm still scratching my head about that. But I'm excited that we're taking over or occupying Gaza.
Hamas, not Gaza.
Yeah. When we occupy it, that's going to be very, very interesting. And I think that when we look at all that stuff, we end up seeing that ultimately there was an issue. We see things with, the Epstein list, all this pedophilia, all this stuff that's just lust. It's just lust. It's perversion. And when you think about how much in the supernatural is really waging war, the enemy wants you to be stuck in addiction and never being able to actually be free from the very things that cause you to feel like you are a victim if it's pulled out from under you. If something is pulled out from under you and you whine, that is a dead giveaway that there is something at play, because your fear of loss has just rose up and spoken. So I just think it's super incredible to see how much is happening in the spirit realm. Step out, step up, ask Holy Spirit to give you the Father's perspective of what's really happening, so you'll know how to properly pray into this, which you should be praying in the Spirit anyway, because you will not be able to know how to properly intercede outside of that. Now, as we talk about your forehead.
Yeah, so, you know, I had this big bump on my head here that was coming, that was growing, and I had it
Some people didn't
probably
see
there for a year. You probably didn't realize that, but if you look at some of my videos, you'll probably see it. Yeah, well, maybe a couple of years. Okay, and so finally I just had enough was enough because it wasn't going anywhere. So the doctor said, hey, it'll go away. It didn't go away. So got it taken out. It was like a little gummy bear size.
It's benign.
Well,
they're sending it off, but
they sent it off to test. It's benign anyway. But anyways, that's what that stitch is there for. It's kind of having a little bit of effect in my eye. You can't really tell, but it's got like this extra low skin. It's like kind of just doing this.
Okay, well, quit pulling on it.
Looking like Quasimodo.
Don't tell me. Anyway.
So that's that. And then, so our trip, so if this bores you, you guys hop off, I don't care. But we had an amazing time and we went on our cruise. Good time, refreshing. I had to rescue Donna though. I had a little, rescue mission, you know, I had to pull out my rescue swimmer, you know, swimming ability to come save this one over here. So we went stand-up paddleboarding and we shared a board and she went out and paddleboard and, you know, I don't know if, it's hard for me to stand up on a paddleboard. I can't get my balance on one of those things. So I did it on my knees and just paddled around. And I came back and then Dawn again went out on the paddleboard and she did the kind of the same thing. She kind of went out and then at a certain point, she's like, all right, I'm going to try to stand up.
I knew I shouldn't have because the paddleboard was one of those thin ones. You guys that paddleboard, then you know when you do a stand-up paddleboard that a stand-up paddleboard should be thicker than your normal surfboard.
Yeah.
And
it was pretty long. It was pretty thick.
It was thin. It was flimsy. Anyway.
It was pretty thick. But
it wasn't thick like your normal ones that we had in that we had in Montana. Seriously.
Something still.
We had some really thick ones when we went to Montana, and we've had thick ones. This one was.
You're right. I was able to stand on that one.
You were.
I did. Yeah. It was like I was able to, the one in Montana.
Well, in Montana you were, yes. Yeah. That was a thick one.
I wasn't even that in my shape. I was in worse shape then.
You really were.
Yeah, I look like a pregnant.
A little bit.
Yeah, I was like 8 months
pregnant. But this one he could not get up on. I almost did, and just when I was going to go all in, I literally ended up going all in, and the board bounced back up and slapped me in the face, and I actually...
Y'all, this is so funny, man. I saw her. The Lord told me just stick with her. You know, this is a beautiful place. We're on Half Moon Cay. So, like, if you guys have been to Half Moon Cay, it is beautiful. The water's like turquoise blue, aqua blue. I mean, it was just beautiful. White sands, everything. And, you know, there's no coral at all in this area where we're at.
Fine sand, powdery.
Yeah, it's like talcum powder. You know, the sand is just so fine.
Beautiful.
And anyway, so there's like this little swimming area. It's like, the swimming area is like 5 foot deep, whatever. But outside there's like a little lane line they put out. So that way, anybody who's doing like paddle boarding, whatever, there's a little area for them to do that. So I can get right to her if I needed to. So Lord just told me to stay with her. So I was watching her, swimming alongside her, you know, for the most, as close as I can anyway. And then she's out there and I'm just watching. I don't think she's paying attention. I'm like following her around. So she's doing pretty good. And she stands up like she says, and she falls over. I'm like, I said, all right. I yelled out to her, I was like, you okay? She falls up. She's trying to get back up on the board. And she turns around. She kind of shakes her head. And I was like, okay. So I just start swimming. Boom, boom, boom. I just start swimming out to her. And I finally reached her. And she goes, I'm good. And she turns around. She smiles. And she's got blood in her nose and in her mouth. There's blood like that. She was like, I'm good. I was like, no, babe. You're bleeding in the face. I'm checking to see she's got all her teeth. And she's like, looking and checking her face out, and she's see if her nose is not like broken or anything, and I'm like, no, she's good, and then she's just bleeding. I'm like, okay, you're bleeding, you're coming. And by this time, the lifeguard with a jet ski comes by. You know, I beat the guy with the jet ski. That's pretty quick.
He did.
So he comes by, comes in with the jet ski. He's like, hey man, you guys okay? I was like, hey man, I think she okay. I said, nah, I think she's bleeding. She probably need to get towed in. You know how, like on a jet ski, they have that little board you can grab onto and kind of like. So I was like, you're gonna go with him. She's like, no, I'm good. She's got all this blood in her face, mind you. And she goes, I'm good.
It's all good.
Puts her face in the water.
I do.
And tried to wash the blood out of her face. She does that. More blood comes down her face. I'm like, babe, get on that board.
Is this a true story?
That's a very true story.
Wow.
Animated, but very true. And so she gets on that board and she goes with the guy back to shore. And I get on the paddle board and I just kind of just like making my way back. And she has like this, I'm sorry to put my finger in my nose, but she has like this cut like right here that's just like bleeding. And like the inside of her lip is bleeding. And he's like, you okay? He was like, you want a medical? She was, no, I'm good. And he asked her like 10 times, I guess I have to do that legally, but.
Well, I remember being in the water and like immediately feeling in here going, okay, is anything broken? Because I could feel like I was feeling in here and then I was like, my eyes are okay. Like it slapped me good. But nothing felt broken in here. And then I just was like, okay, I must be fine. Until I started seeing water have blood in it. So
yeah. Anyway, so there's no sharks that circle around because I mean it's the 𝙑𝙤𝙨𝙪𝙖𝙡. There's, I'll tell you what, there's fish that we noticed after a while. Like there's these white fish, like super white. Like we talk about
blue.
but these fish were so white we
Clear.
couldn't see them. Now I don't know. I thought they were clear. They were just white. They were like white, like the sand. And you didn't notice them until like they cast a shadow, and then you see them. You're like, wait a minute. And these fish are huge. They're like.
Did they have a little long nose?
Yeah, well, some of them did. They look like a little white carp. I don't know if you know what a carp is, but
so pretty.
Little Japanese ponds with like the orange white fish.
Koa.
They're like a koa fish, but they're just all white, like completely like they match the sand. I was like, you couldn't even see them, and that they were like they would swim up to you and like you didn't even see them there because they're just camouflaged with white. Anyway, but it was beautiful. We had an amazing time.
They weren't like koa. They were thin. They were long and thin. So they kind of look like a swordfish.
Well, some of them did. They look like little sturgeons, like straight, like long sturgeons. Some of them look like that, but these ones I'm talking about, they were like more like a carp type fish, more like a koi fish, But yeah, they were just completely white. Amazing, beautiful fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, koi. Anyway, so I don't know. We had a great time. As you can see, we're like both like 3 shades darker. Which would met the goal.
I was going for it.
And we ate.
I was trying not to come back unless I looked like I was Trinidad.
And Nubian princess and prince.
I tried.
So anyways, we had a great time. Thank you guys for praying. Thank you guys for your support. It was amazing. It was refreshing.
So nice. Sophia had a blast.
We came back, tried to go back to the Lido deck, get some food. We just couldn't do it.
We couldn't do it.
But anyways, we had a great time.
We ate so much food. Yeah. Not even ashamed. No. So, but you know what? You know us. We'll be back back to rebounding, back to our grounding mats, eating well, our nutrition, our supplements, and well, we're just trying to heal back up. It seems like we came back and everybody had this sickness. So
that's another thing. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about, but anyways, hopefully this was a little bit of an update. We've been gone for a little bit, but we're back in the saddle. Hope to see you guys more on there. Like, subscribe, follow, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.